Hey, this interview is brought to you by Evergreen Roofing here locally. They're helping people out with their roofs. Lord knows I could use the help up here. Check out more evergreenmt.com. Thank you so much for sponsoring this episode. Enjoy. Hello and welcome. We are in our new studio space, Hoary, Marmot. We got our logo in the screen and everything, and I have with me to break it in, Mike Magrans. He is the managing partner and chief investment officer at Outlaw Real Estate Partners. Got some notable projects around town. They're responsible for the Wildlands project that's close to Main Street, Northeast neighborhood. Probably go to Wild Crumb, delicious bakery, and the new one, Urban Farm. This is a development, 106-acre mixed-use community on Huffine in Bozeman. Thank you so much for joining me here in the studio, Mike.
Yeah, thank you, Joe.
I'm excited to talk to you about
the space is great.
Real estate development and the direction of Bozeman. The first question I have, whose fault is it? We're look at this pickle we're in. We have a changing community, and we've grown so fast. Why? Whose fault is it?
Yeah, well, growth is a good thing. You'd rather be a community that's growing than losing population. And Bozeman is a victim of its own success, right? We've got an incredible university, two amazing world-class ski resorts, a world-class airport, a bunch of entrepreneurs who are really creating an incredible business environment. And so, and on top of that, or the foundation is the outdoor lifestyle. Right? So if you're a mountain biker or a skier or a fisherman, this is the place you want to be. And when you have all of those ingredients, it's going to create growth. So it's nobody's fault, but you know we're happy to be growing.
Okay, you could have just said Yellowstone. It's fine. It would have been tighter. Are we going too fast? Is this sustainable, the way that we're developing?
So we were growing too fast, I think. During COVID and after COVID, we had an incredible influx of new members to our community, including myself. And when you have population growth of 5 to 10% every year, schools can't keep up, roads, water infrastructure, the trailheads, it just becomes too much, too fast. And so, and we just didn't have the housing to support that number of people coming into the market all at once. So you saw housing prices double, apartment rents double, and you know the quality of life decline, I would certainly say. And so when you have that fast of growth, there's growing pains, but that's slowed down. You know, we're certainly below 2% growth over the last year and probably will be for the next year for a number of reasons.
The population has slowed. Mm-hmm. Has the development slowed as well?
Yeah, so development is an imperfect market, right? And so a development is years in the making. And so it generally takes, at least us, 5 years from acquiring the land to planning it, designing it, starting construction, delivering it, leasing it up, or selling it. And so we're making plans 5 years today, 5 years into the future. We don't have crystal balls. And so if we did, we would be able to create a more perfect development or environment. But that's just not the nature of, you know, the development business. And so it just needs to catch up. And so in this case, right now, there's a glut of supply of apartments in the market. And it'll take a couple years for those to absorb unless population increases again.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And you foresee then the building to slow down and let population catch up with it.
Yeah, so now that we're oversupply, at least in apartments, you see a lot of us in the development community pressing pause. Not only because we're seeing the amount of supply that needs to be absorbed, but our lenders have really increased the cost of construction. Our investors are looking at other opportunities, not just real estate. And so there's a number of factors between cost of construction, cost of equity, the amount of supply, that has put a lot of us developers on our heels a bit, just to say, let's slow down, let's see what happens, let's wait for some of this new supply to get absorbed before we start construction again.
Okay. So we've gone so fast, kind of moving ahead at breakneck speed. How do you do that without just slowly choking the soul out of Bozeman like you're Jake the Snake Roberts?
You got to engage the community. Development, yes, we're putting up apartments, we're creating housing, we're creating places to live, creating places for people to experience Bozeman. But at the same time, you have to, as a developer, recognize what's the draw for Bozeman, and it's certainly the outdoor lifestyle, the experience, the land. So as developers, I think it's our duty and our responsibility to be also wear a land conservation hat. And so whether it's creating public space, open space, trails, systems, so that you're not just developing the sticks and the bricks, but you're also adding to the amenities of the community. And so we take that responsibility very seriously in every development. So the city does too, but as developers, we go over and above what's required to make sure that we're creating incredible spaces and experiences that add to the interest in what makes Bozeman great.
And you can't make more nature, but you
No.
can create spaces that are in harmony with it, I guess, is what you're saying.
Yeah, so for example, we have a 160-acre development on the south side of town, a community called Sand Hill. And it was really important for us. 80 of those acres, almost half of that property, was put into open space for the public to enjoy. So, if you're a resident of Bozeman and not a resident of that community, you have open access to the new mountain bike trails that we built, walking trails.
And is that because you had to or because you chose to?
We chose to. I mean, there were certain requirements that the county, but again, we went over and above to make sure that it was something that we would be proud of as not only residents, but as developers.
Okay. Well, good on you then, I guess. You develop Bozeman, but you also live here.
Yep.
You choose to raise your family here. What's something that you're proud of that you've accomplished, like when you pass by it?
Yeah, so we're really proud of what we're doing in the Northeast neighborhood. It's a cool, eclectic, old school Bozeman neighborhood. To be able to take the best bakery and the best deli in the city of Bozeman, enhance that building. We added another 40,000 square feet. We created space for 3 new businesses. We created homes for 12 new residents. When I see that building, I'm really proud to be a developer. We went, again, over and above on design, architecture, materials. We created an open space and patio for the neighborhood to come together, whether it's to eat a turkey sandwich at Fink's or to have a Northeast neighborhood farmers market. We're just always doing something, and I'm really proud to bring the community together.
Okay. I like it. I think that's a pretty good answer. I'd be proud if I were you too. You and I have talked about Belgrade before, and the fact that it is growing faster than Bozeman. You said you don't have a crystal ball, but I do want you to forecast the future here. What are the trajectories like of both Belgrade and Bozeman in relation to each other?
Yeah. So I think over time, Belgrade and Bozeman will become one. That's what the county wants. It's the Bozeman-Belgrade triangle as they come together. Belgrade's got a lot of amazing things going for it. Its proximity to the airport, access to I-90, it's closer in to Big Sky, and it's a very pro-growth, pro-development city. And it's, at this point, still less expensive than Bozeman. And so you can generally, if you're a family moving to the Southwest Montana market, you can buy a single-family home. You can have a fence. You can have a dog. And so that's really attractive to people in the market. And you can commute into Bozeman. It takes 5 or 10 minutes. So Belgrade, yeah, I would keep an eye on Belgrade and its growth. And they just have the capacity to build a lot more homes than we do here in Bozeman.
Okay.
And so that'll keep prices generally affordable as compared to what we're seeing in Bozeman, which is unaffordable. It's very difficult. And we could talk a little bit more about how that impacts Bozeman in general, but it's a real challenge.
Yeah. As we talk about that large, that sort of region becoming what we generally call Bozeman, how do we keep the focal point as downtown, like Main Street Bozeman, which is a really cool thing that Bozeman's been able to hold on to?
Yeah, you have to support your local businesses and your local restaurants and bars. And I think the city of Bozeman is doing an amazing job of being well known for restaurants and bars. It's a college town. It's vibrant. There's always something going on. You have to feed that. You have to invest in it. One of the biggest challenges, especially restaurant owners have, is the cost of a liquor license. It's crazy. It's a $1.4 million expense now. And it's very difficult to sustain. So finding ways either at the state level or the local level to support these local businesses to keep Main Street thriving is really important. The other thing that's happening downtown is, and you'll see the number of hotels that are being built. While tourists can be the word tourist can be a bad word, that's what's feeding that downtown market as well to make it sustainable. And it's fun. It's a great experience walking down Main Street.
And you talk about the hotels, they're kind of popping up all over the place. Is it the same effect as what you were talking about earlier?
Yeah, too much, too fast.
Yeah.
So we went from having 15 hotels in the market in 2020. We've got 30. Now it'll be a total of 30 hotels. So another 15 either in construction, being completed, and doubling the size of the number of hotel rooms in the market. So on the positive side, that keeps hotel rates relatively flat. It offers more incredible dining experiences, stay experiences. It brings more dollars down into Main Street and into the Bozeman market. But you're going to just have a lot more tourists here.
Okay. Which a lot of businesses won't complain about that.
No, yeah.
So at the federal level, we're all aware there's a lot of economic uncertainty abounding right now. How do you foresee that affecting our region, the Gallatin Valley, in terms of real estate?
Yeah. Volatile times, for sure. Difficult to create business plans, development plans, when you have a lack of leadership or a lack of foresight and stability on everything from the stock market to tariffs to what business, as a business leader, what you need to make plans. And so it's definitely creating a bit of a challenging environment for us where we're just taking a breath. And I think a lot of our peers in the industry are doing that as well. Let's take a breath. Let's understand where the markets are and where they're going and how do we operate in that environment. What we need at the federal and state level as developers, which we see in other markets, is support on development, especially infrastructure. So in other markets, they're very pro-growth. They want to see new businesses move into the community, new jobs being created. And so the state and either the state or at the federal level, you'll get access to grants or bond financing that allow you to build those roads. And we just don't have that here in Bozeman.
Sort of on your own.
We're on our own. It increases the cost of development. It increases the cost of housing. And so that's one of the things that we're trying as a development community to really lobby for and work together to improve.
Sounds like that might help bring down some of the crazy house prices.
Yeah, I mean, if the median sales price to buy a home in Bozeman right now is $750,000 to $800,000. So it's one of the highest in the market. Where we look at our peers as Bend, Boulder, Boise, and we're at the top.
Bend, Boulder, Bozeman, Boise, all the bees.
All the bees. The killer bees.
Is real estate a safe investment in Bozeman right now?
I would say that if you look at Bozeman over a 10-year period, absolutely. If you're trying to time the market in real estate, you're never going to win. But the beauty about real estate is that we're not making any more land. We have very limited access to water and sewer in the Bozeman Valley. We're confined by geography and mountains, especially to the east. And so it's a finite resource. There's scarcity of land and real estate in Bozeman, and there's a cap on really how much we can build and develop here. And so, over a long period, real estate's a terrific investment, especially here.
When do we get concerned about water availability? Are we there?
So the county and state are certainly there. Very restrictive around drilling new wells, building communities with septic, which is good. We want to create and keep a safe environment and not run out of water. But I think there just needs to be more education, more information on the true accessibility and availability of water in the market.
Yeah. All right. We'll keep an eye on that one.
Yeah.
It sounds like we'll watch that space. You hosted a roundtable recently with a bunch of heavy hitters in the area. Steve Daines was there. How was the mood among other developers?
Yeah, it's muted. Like I said, everybody's a bit concerned about what's happening at the federal level and in the White House and the leadership, and that certainly impacts the stock market and impacts consumer confidence. For developers to be successful, we just need confidence in the market, and so investors are less likely to invest in real estate when their stock portfolios go down. The banks are less likely to lend, or it's harder to borrow when interest rates go up like they did in the last week or two. When costs of construction are likely are going up because of tariffs, those create an environment that make it very difficult for us to make decisions. And in the room, we are all really now getting organized as a group. This environment's agitating us as developers, galvanizing us to really come together to create an environment where we can develop sustainably here in the market.
Yeah.
And, Steve was great. I think he really cares about the state of Montana, and, through his policy and his actions, it's great to see we've got a great leader there. But what was very clear to us, he believes in the free markets, and as a development group, it's really up to us to govern ourselves and create opportunities. The state and the federal government are really not going to step in and save the development community. Not that they should.
No bailouts here.
No bailouts. We're definitely not getting that. But we could use support, and we could use support on bringing new businesses to Montana. We could use support on supporting entrepreneurs. We have so many incredible entrepreneurs here in the Bozeman market, especially in the photonic space, the laser space. These small companies, they're 5 to 10 person companies. They need support, whether it's tax incentives, whether it's grants, whether it's free rent or support on rent to help incubate their businesses. Those are the types of things where the state or the county or the local governments can step in to help the entire community, is really help these entrepreneurs.
You don't have to tell me about the photonic space, Mike, okay? I
You're
think
an
I
expert.
know it pretty well. Was there any good news that came out of it? Anybody doing anything cool?
There's every developer in that room is doing something cool. They're adding value, whether it's, like I said, creating new homes, new grocers, new entertainment venues, whether it's pickleball or whether it's, talking to one group about developing a surf park here in Bozeman.
What?
So, over time, Bozeman is just, the developers in the room really care about, not only creating great spaces, but community development. And I think, I'm really excited about what Bozeman can be or will be over the next 10 years.
I think people could care less about surfing. They're more excited about the phototonics, probably. So we all know real estate developers are the devil. Is there anything that you can say to me right now that will engender sympathy toward you and your ilk?
Wow, tough question. Tough crowd. Look, developers are entrepreneurs too. We're business owners. We're raising families here, just like any other business owner. This is just the way that we've chosen to make our living. We're creating communities, and whether it's like a sub-market or community like we have in the Northeast neighborhood where we're bringing people together, or allowing some young entrepreneur who's doing well to build a home or buy a home and raise their family. We're putting roofs over people's heads. I don't know why that's conceived or perceived as devilish or evil, but we're people too.
All right, fine. Well, I'm going to make you look very human in our dumb Marmot game.
Okay.
But we're going to stop for a second because we have to bring in the gladiatorial combatant. I need my champion to come, and you are going to compete against one of your coworkers.
Okay.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll take a break and then come right back. We have brought in our champion, EJ Dawes, supervising broker at Outlaw Realty, leading the Bozeman office, fourth generation Bozeman native. That's what AI told me. Working across residential, commercial, and project development real estate against Mike Magrans. We're going to be playing Zillow Fight. But we say like this: Zillow Fight. I'm going to show you both some Zillow listings in the area, and you have to compete to guess the current asking price.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You're going to kill me.
Price is right. Rules apply here. Closest to the number without going over. All right. You guys shake hands, and we're all going to say Zillow Fight to start.
Good luck. Good
Zillow
luck, Mike.
Fight. We all have to say it together.
Zillow Fight.
Yes, perfect. All right. Our first listing, 2391 Mount Ellis Road. Look, there's some information missing from the listing, apparently. It's a 6'4", 6-bedroom, 4-bath, 7,600 square feet, plus a guest cottage, 1,600 square feet. We got some outbuildings, equestrian facilities, all on a 122-acre lot, about 8 miles from downtown Bozeman. Lake, pond, river, creek, it's got it all. What's the asking price, guys?
What's the acreage? What did we say?
120.
122 deeded acres. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So there's a second sheet. More information.
So
if you
what
need
do we
now
shout it out at
you
the
need
same
to
time?
Yeah, I mean, guess if you got a number.
Well, why don't you go first this time? And are we playing this multiple times? Or?
Yeah, we have multiple listings here.
I'll give you the first shot.
I'm going to guess $14.5 million.
Okay. What's your guess, Mike?
Wow, I was not even close to that. Okay, so maybe is it like an over/under?
Yeah, it's Price is Right rules.
Price
so
is
if
Right.
you go over, you have to be.
So I could do $1.
You can't. If you think he's over, you absolutely can.
That's true. There you go.
I won't do that, but I think it's probably in that $5.4 million range.
Okay, Mike takes this one. It's actually 9495.
Okay.
There's the full listing, so you can see it. And we'll flash it up
All right.
on the screen for our
You definitely want
viewers.
EJ as your broker if you think it's worth $14 million.
How about our second one? This is 50 Elmwood Drive in Bozeman. Okay, this is a manufactured home built in 1969. Take these old ones.
Mm-hmm.
We got 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,080 square feet, double wide, plus garage, open floor plan, laminate flooring, metal roof. What's our asking price, guys?
All right, I'll go first. So I think this is $420,000.
Is there a deeded lot with this manufactured home?
Oh,
That's wow,
Do
what a
they
great
own the real
one.
estate? Do they actually own the real estate, or are they just buying the manufactured home?
That's a good
It's
point.
it's in the Mountain Meadows Park.
Okay.
So I'm guessing.
It doesn't appear
I don't think
to.
it's just.
I
the
don't
house,
see
right?
any. I don't see anything related to the size of the lot
Okay.
and the square
you
footage.
Think it's
so
just the structure.
I do. And so I'm going to go a little bit lower. I'm going to say $215,000.
You are both over. It was $119,995.
Okay.
No land.
No land. No land.
Must
with that
not
one.
be. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, that was a little curveball for you. Our third Zillow listing is 827 and 829 South 2nd Street in Ennis.
This is Ennis.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're going to Ennis now. This is a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. There's one structure, one building, 1,600 square feet on 2 different lots. Okay, 2.3 acres, 500 feet of Madison River frontage.
Wow.
Okay, this is
pretty.
one modest ranch-style home built in 1974, adjacent to public land, radiant floor heat. How much we think this is?
You want me to go?
Asking.
Yeah, you're up.
I'm going to say this 4-bedroom home, 1,600 square foot, that's on the Madison River. I'm going to say 1.1 million.
Yeah, that was close. Ennis is really coming around, so I'm going to go a little bit higher to 1.2 million.
Ooh.
Oh, smart. Nicely done, Mike. All right,
2.5.
Two and a half.
Gosh, way off. Wait a minute. Okay, so is it 2 separate 2-acre lots or 2.3 total?
Well, it's.
Doesn't matter. You lost.
The price is the
Two
price.
lots.
I think you're 0 for 3.
I am. I think
I
so.
want to say it's 2.3 total.
Yep.
But you guys are the experts here. You can read a Zillow listing. I can't. I don't know what I'm doing. All right. Number 4. What's our score?
I think let's see.
It's 3.
Yeah, I
3
think so.
nothing.
But you
right?
both went over on the second.
Oh, we both went over.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 2.
Disqualified. 2.
Okay. 4th listing. Let's go to Livingston. Okay. This is 124 Deep Creek Road in Livingston. 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, 2,800, 2,900 square feet. This is a log-built home. All right, with numerous outbuildings, 3 horse stalls on a 2.02 acre lot. River frontage on Deep Creek. You got a deck and a detached workshop. What's our asking price for this, experts?
I'm going to say 2.5 million.
Let's see. I feel like I've seen this listing before, and I think it has some history. I believe this home was previously owned by the famous author Jim Harrison.
No way.
In his family up Deep Creek. Asking price on this 2 acres along Deep Creek for a home that was built. Let's see, log home here. I'm gonna say 1.6 million.
Oh, so close. But you just went over. It's 1.3.
Okay.
But very nicely done. I was worried you were going to know all these listings.
Oh, no.
So I've been really thrilled so far. But you both went over again. So we still have Mike 2.
Thrilled about how horribly off we are.
That's part of the fun. All right, we'll double it up for this last one, okay? So if you win this one,
Okay.
EJ, you can tie it up.
Okay.
This is our final listing, number 5. This one is 7980 Walker Road. It's also known as the Running Elk Ranch. 4 bedroom, 5 bath, 3,500 square feet, and 1,940 acres, just minutes from the heart of Bozeman. The main house was built in 2005. Horse amenities, including an arena, corral, hay storage, barn, stables, tack room, and loafing shed. I don't even know what that means. And a pond and seasonal creek.
You've been adding a lot of history to
Yes.
these listings. What do you know about this one?
I don't know a ton of history on this one other than it's a spectacular location. It's not far from the home and some of the places that they filmed. Some of the opening scenes of a river runs through it when they're at their house. The little river runs through it house is still out there.
Nice.
In Spring
on
Hill.
this property or
not
close,
on this property?
close by?
It's just north of
Okay.
this property. There's a great old schoolhouse that they featured in the movie, things like that. So it's a beautiful northern part of the valley, tucked right up against Sacagawea Peak and the Bridger Mountains. This listing, I remember when it came to the market, and I believe this listing is, I think it's listed for I want to say 60 million, I believe, in that ballpark.
Yeah. I was gonna say
I can't remember.
I was gonna say 35 million.
I can't remember
but
what it is. Yeah,
You're probably closer.
might be getting it confused with the
EJ
Flaming
takes
Arrow.
it and ties it up. It's $69
$69
million
million.
for that. Recently reduced, though, guys.
Recently reduced.
Price cut by $10 million. That was Zillow fight.
Zillow fight.
You guys
fight.
tied, so we're going to have a rubber match at some point.
All right.
And do that again. But thank you for being good sports and giving me your afternoon, guys. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks,
Mike
Joe.
Magrans, EJ Dawes, and these guys are the best. Don't know what to say. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.